All right, people, you're welcome to your number one inspirational TV show, The Havila Show. Drums roll. Wow, good to be back. Good to be back on set again. Wow, wow. You're welcome to your number one inspirational TV show here where we inspire you, entertain you, we inform you, we educate you. We bring great tips, great tips will inspire you on the show, will make you go to the right direction. I remain your humble host, Avila Oluwafemi Jacobs. Here today. It's going to be an exciting show again. Last week we had a special guest. She's her name is Ego Chizo Michael. She was on the show last week, and we talked about music and talked about entrepreneurship in COVID-19. It was an exciting show. I remember when she said something about don't give up, stay focused. She said she blocked up husband. She blocked him on social media from her contact on social media. Said she blocked her pastor, blocked the evangelist, blocked everybody. That was so funny. Anyway, but one thing I got from that is that you stay focused, don't be distracted by whatever. This is what God has called you to do. This is what you're called to do. This is what you have to do. Stay on that line and make sure you don't give up. Stay strong. I believe and I tell you that as if you can stay focused with that call God has given unto you, you would shine and you'll make it in that field. Today we have a special guest. We have another special guest for you. Her name is Ezinne. She's Ezinne, yeah, but AKA I think Ezinne, yeah. She's gonna be on the show today. We're gonna talk. Let's just touch a little bit about music. Talk about music live, and we'll talk more about making wise decisions financially when it comes to finance. Yes, I'm so excited. I don't know what to say anymore. I'm just excited about the show because she's loaded. She's loaded. Shandalika. All All right, so this is going to be exciting. So just get ready, get your pen, get your book, and just take some notes down about finance for 2021, how you can improve your financial life. All right, you know how we do it. We introduce our guest. We'll play the introduction video, and after that, we bring her straight up into the studio because it's such a 1 hour show, and we're not just going to waste your time today. All right, are we ready? So I'm going to play the introduction video. After the video, she's going to be in the studio and we'll just start talking. All right, thank you. Sit back, relax, and enjoy. All right, enjoy this. All right, thank you.
This week on
The Havilah Show. Ezinne is a worship minister, mentor, and teacher whose ministry has spanned over 3 decades. Like many before her, she found music in the 4 walls of her local church at a young age, immersing herself in the choir, discovering a talent and harnessing a passion and love for the expression of worship, not just through music but through the creative arts of dance, poetry, drama, and the spoken word.
He is good, he is amazing, and his mercy never runs dry.
She has held leadership positions in various capacities and different ministries over the years. Albums such as The Highest Praise from the Tehillah Company, The Choir of House on the Rock, Abuja, The Festival of Life Choir Ministrations, and The Haven Concerts are some of the countless projects she has contributed her vocal gifts and leadership skills to promote their success over the years. She currently serves as the music director for the Living Spring Choir of her local assembly, where she enjoys discovering, supporting, and mentoring young, fresh, and untapped upcoming talent.
Love you, Lord, for your mercy never fails me.
Her vision and assignment are to fuse worship with evangelism, as an end-time tool for the erection of praise gates and salvation walls in our cities and nations for the salvation and liberation of the oppressed. Isaiah chapter 60 verses 18. She is happily married with 2 daughters and combines her ministry with a career in clinical radiography in the NHS. Ladies and gentlemen, join us as I make welcome our special guest, Ezinne. The Havilah Show.
We inspire you. Yeah, you're welcome to the show. Yeah.
Can we rewind? Because that wasn't me.
I
Who was that person? That wasn't. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much for having me. You made me feel really special.
Oh.
Oh, I'm so excited to be.
Thank you. Thank
so
you.
much. It's an honor. It's a privilege, and I'm glad to be here.
Thank you. We're happy to. We're honored having you on the show today. All right, quick one. So on our show now, let's talk about music. We'll talk about music here. Just touch a little bit on music. Then we'll go straight to the topic of the day, which is making wise financial choices.
Cool.
Yeah. No. So music. Who inspires you musically?
Oh, range loads of people. Over the years. I'm very old school. Well, not quite dinosaur, but I've been singing since. I'm going to give up my age now, aren't I? Since the 80s, okay?
All right.
In the first group that influenced me, some of you may never have heard about them, is an a cappella group called AVB. And, I was in a group that was post-high school. And it was great for integrating young people and making sure that they're focusing their energy on
Right.
spiritual things. And we
Okay.
had a group, we had a group where we just came together. We didn't have all the fancy keyboards and the drums and all of that. And we used to make music with our mouth,
Wow.
snapping our finger,
Wow.
such amazing harmonies, just a cappella.
Wow.
It was one of the things that's where I learned to ad lib. That's where I learned to lead worship initially, and
Yeah.
obviously moving from that into the university, the
Okay.
campus fellowship, abiding word gathering formed me. Based on artists, one of my mentors is Cece Wynant. I
Woo! All right.
is just an amazing, talented, anointed minister of God, and she's one of
Mm,
the that I've, over the years. I don't think there's any album of CC Winans that I haven't listened to,
mm,
song or any song really. I've probably played her songs on repeats, constantly. The other person for worship for me is Darlene Zech. One of my
mm.
favorite worship songs. You know how sometimes once they say Ezinne lead worship, the first song that comes to my mind, I don't even have to think about it, is Shout to the Lord. So,
Mm.
people who have really inspired me, Fred Hammond, commissioned, you know, those people, have been obviously, more recent. Let me call some new names so that people don't think I am so ancient. Vashon Mitchell is one person that I really love.
Wow. All right.
Naomi Raines. She's
Mm.
I just connected with her. She's an artist that I really admire. Um,
Wow.
so yeah, those are the people who have inspired me musically.
Okay. So, what are your strengths as a gospel minister? Or
Oh,
yeah, yeah.
okay. Do you know what? I am comfortable with who I am.
Mm,
I think that's one of my strengths. I am just content with the purpose and the things that God has. I don't really try to be like anyone, if that
mm,
makes sense. I don't really try to. Obviously, I get inspired, but I know who I am. I know
mm,
what God has called me to be. So I'm not trying to be like, I don't want to call any big names and do what they're doing, because it's so important that you know who you are, you know who God has called you to be, and that you
mm,
stay in your lane.
mm,
So
mm,
that is one of my strengths. I don't have all the vocal prowess that most people, have, but I'm just satisfied with the talent that God has given me. And I think the other thing is, because of that, I
mm,
don't feel threatened, if that makes.
mm,
So that means
mm.
that I recognize people's abilities, and
Yeah.
I push them to become the best that they can be. I'm I don't know, this is really funny, but I was watching a skit, where
Yeah.
this old-fashioned choir mistress was
Yeah. Yeah.
stopping people from being what they should be, because she'd been in the choir for years. So who are you to
Mm.
tell us? She didn't even know who sang Onishe Yanu, and she said, "Oh, maybe it's Domoen," or but that who I am, and I think that's one of my strengths, and that makes me understand other people's strength and let them just be who they are.
Mm. All right. So the last question for music, and we'll go straight to the topic of the day
Okay.
now. What's the best advice you've ever been given?
Hmm. The best advice I've ever been given, is that in music or generally in life?
Life, yeah.
In
Life.
life.
Yes.
Okay, so I think it's, be happy with who you are. Don't
Mm,
try to be anyone else.
mm,
Be comfortable and be content, because that's one thing that's that's driven, that's like a motor that drives me through life. And growing up, you know um my mother made me see myself as a princess, and
wow.
that's why I do what I do with my head held up high, I may not be the best, okay? But she always said to me, give it your best, okay?
Mm,
Once you've given it your best, just hold your head up high and be proud of who you are.
right. Mm. Wow, wow, wow. Be proud of who you are. Yes, I'm proud of who I am. Yes,
You
I know that
should.
song. This song, Sinach. Who
I
I
know.
am.
I
I
know.
know who I am. Yes, yes, yes. That song is powerful. That song is
Yeah,
powerful.
yeah, yeah.
Yes, that song is powerful. Now to the topic of the day, we're discussing making wise financial choices.
Hmm.
This topic is deep.
It
is
is.
is
It
deep.
is.
So what do you have to say about this topic, making wise financial choices?
Okay. I'm going to be honest with you. The things I'm going to say are not deep. Are
Okay.
not deep in the sense that they're not theology or big words, or there's a way people can make things look so
So
bigger than they really are. And these are things that I have picked up over
mm,
the years,
right.
from reading books, from watching and learning from other people,
Yeah.
from personal life experiences as well. And they're just basic things, things that you will say is common sense. But
Mm,
sometimes common sense isn't quite common, these days. And you find that there are people who do things or make decisions, and you wonder why are you making this decision. And I'm just going to talk just very briefly on just a few. There are loads of things, but
yes.
I think there are about five of them that I've picked up, and things that I would say would be, you can link them into one of the things that I've probably said. So one key thing is you must have a vision about where you're going. You
Mm,
can't, if you don't know where you're going, there's
mm,
no way you will get there. It's
mm.
like somebody who starts a journey with no address. In these days when we have sat nav, no sat nav them to even where they're going. And it's so important because when God was talking to Abraham, he said, as far as your eyes can see. So
Can
that
see it.
your eyes must see something. And
Mm,
so it is that vision that you have that drives you to take the right steps, to
mm,
get on the right road, to take the right turn, to get
mm,
to your destination. Okay. And
mm,
that is so, so key. And because of the vision that you have, I'm going to the next one, you seek knowledge. How do you, and I'm going to stay in the analogy of getting to somewhere.
mm.
Sometimes you get to a crossroad and you ask for information into it. And that's how, there's an Igbo proverb that says that a person who asks question never
Do-
gets lost.
doesn't get, yeah, never,
Yeah,
never.
never get lost, because you will always find the way, once you ask. Because the truth
Mm,
in life, you don't know everything. Not one
no.
person knows everything. And it is in
Mm,
seeking knowledge that you develop yourself.
mm,
So whether it be, because again, I know we're talking about finances, but I think what I'm talking about more is holistic. It's more about wealth. And
yes.
is that encompasses a lot of things. It encompasses character,
Yes.
and a lot of that is there because it is in the character that you've developed that you can make those right choices. Okay,
Mm,
so your personal development, which means that you decide, okay, I've seen young people that I've worked with, and they're 23, 24, and you're asking them. So my background, I'm a radiographer, okay, and so I work with people who support us as radiographers, and you find that a lot of them as helpers, you look at them and you think you can do a lot more than this, and then you ask them, what do you plan to do? I don't know. At
mm,
23, 24. And then you wonder, some of them actually went in to do a course, and they come out and say, I was struggling, so I came out. Do you know what? If it was when I was growing up, my mother would ask you, how many, those who are still there, how many heads do
They
they
have.
have? Go back there, face it and conquer it, and
Mm.
and so it is the vision that you have that drives you to continue to develop yourself. In that personal development I'm talking about, you are keen to, you don't mind paying for courses. You don't, even sometimes if you don't have the money, you can ask somebody and they can help you with it. But it is key that you continue to develop yourself by reading books about whatever subject, whatever matter it is. I went into property a few years ago, and I'm that kind. Sorry, am I talking too much?
No, 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 no. I'm enjoying it. No, 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 no.
Okay,
Please,
because
please, please,
if you leave me, I will just keep talking.
please
I,
go ahead. Go ahead. I'm
I am
enjoying.
a woman who just wants to gallop, get on, jump on that horse and giddy, 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 and just go.
Mm.
But God, who loves me, gave me a husband who is chilled. He is more, he takes his time. He takes his time before making any decision. And growing up, my mother is such a big inspiration for me.
Mm.
She's not here now, unfortunately, but she's such a big inspiration. And she used to buy land. She used to
Okay.
buy lands. And when I moved to the UK, it was something that I wanted to do. But the first thing I did was to find out what would work in the United Kingdom.
Right.
And buying land would not have worked. And so obviously the next thing was going into property. And I just wanted to go. And my husband said, stop. We have to go for courses. We spent close to £10,000 on just understanding the property business,
Wow.
before we went in. And so sometimes you have to pay that price,
Yeah.
and that's why I find that people are not willing to pay that price to get the knowledge. Okay, I won't talk much more about that. Be content.
Mm.
We are in a generation where people, we're constantly trying to meet up with the Joneses. If you know what that means, I don't know who the Jones is in your neighborhood or in your life. Do you know? And I think I've seen young people, and I see how they reason and how they think, and a lot of wrong decisions that we make about finances is because we want to keep up with the expectations of the society.
Mm.
So you're planning, let's even start with the basic things. Let's even start with basic things.
Yes.
Must you carry a Michael Kors bag? If you can't afford it, do you know, uh, why? What must you? You mustn't. What is wrong with, because of the level where you are, you go to the charity shop and buy something? Do you know, because you see, that's why I said I'm not going to be too deep, because this is all about little things. And I'm going to, use myself as an example.
Yes.
These things are not, they're not things that are too highfalutin. Be
Mm.
content with who you are. Don't
Mm.
be anybody else. Don't try to, who has given you the standard? Who gave you the standard? Is that what God's word says about you? That
Mm.
you should try and keep up with the class and be who you're not, or force what you're not, and go above your means. And it is only when you're content. The Bible says that godliness with contentment is great gain. We're talking about wise finance. It is gain to your
Now,
pocket.
now, 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 someone said something. He told me online. He said, because I noticed that he's fake. Yeah, he tries to do a lot of things
Package.
online,
Name his package.
packaging.
Yeah.
He wants to do a lot of things online to show that, oh, he has the cheddar, the money, and wants to impress
Yeah.
people. So I spoke to him. I said, you know, take it easy. Why don't you just be yourself and grow? But he told me, he said, fake it to make it. He said, when you fake it, you would it's like you're drawing the supernatural, drawing wealth to yourself by faking it. Now, what do you have to say about that? Yeah.
Okay. Do you know what? That is not scriptural as far as I'm concerned. Paul said that I have learned to be, when I have plenty, I'm good. When I have little, I am good. And
Yes.
that is the theory of the world. And you know the problem with that, just look at it. I have friends who have been like that, okay? But you find that at the stage where they should be settled, they still come back to you to beg for money.
Mm.
Do you understand? So these are people who in their 30s, in their 40s, because they've been faking since they were young, they are still faking, and they are depending on other people to help them to continue their faking ministry. Do you understand? So I think you're not helping yourself, because why? You
Mm.
never move forward. And that is a character problem that no matter how much you rise,
Yeah.
you will
Mm.
never stay up there, because you will
Mm.
not have the right foundation to stay in that place. Okay, so I don't know if I've answered your question.
Yes, yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes,
So
yes.
don't fake to make it. Be content with who you are and be satisfied. Don't be greedy. It is when you are greedy that you want to get into get rich quick schemes. And I growing up, I have been in that, and I know the emotional trauma as a because we went through something like that as a family, and I know the pain
Mm.
that it cost me, growing up, and how it affected my family. And you never want that. You never want to put yourself in a situation where you've gone and probably borrowed money from people to get rich quick. Never. The only thing that makes you take such decisions is greed. And
Mm.
that is all that stems from faking it to make it. Tell you something. See, earlier on in our marriage, me and my husband, I'll tell you this story. It's really funny. So we went to Asda to shop,
Mm.
and these two dodgy guys. I think we've probably been in the UK maybe two. We've probably been married for about a year. And these two guys, they were in a van, and they walked up to us. So you see, when con men know who to con. So they looked at us, these young black people, they don't know anything. So they came and they said, oh, that we have these televisions to sell. Okay, I'm not sure my husband wants me to tell the story. But anyway, so they came and they said, oh, we have these televisions to sell. And they took us to their van, and they opened it and they showed us this flat screen TVs. It was dark, and there were like loads of them. And we're thinking, oh, we didn't even think of just buying for ourselves. We said, let's buy. Fortunately, we didn't buy it to say, oh, let's go and sell it and make money. Thank God. But we're thinking of, our friends, one of our friends who would have benefited from it. I said, let's buy. So one of us now said, oh, let's just buy for ourselves. And we paid, I can't remember, maybe like £120 or something. And
Mm.
when we got home and we brought this TV out of the car, it was crap. It was broken screen. It was just, and we looked at ourselves. And, from that day, we made a decision.
Mm.
We said, anybody who comes to us and says, this deal, it's now or never, go. We
Go.
don't want it. No, we both made that decision. So
Mm.
when anybody comes and they're saying, oh, this is you, if you don't get it today, you will not get this deal. Thank you very
Mm.
much. We're very grateful for the offer that you've given us. Thank you. We will pass. And so like I said, it's just different experiences that I've had over life that's made me make these decisions. And I'm also going to talk about building character. If you look at the life of Joseph, I was having a conversation with the Holy Spirit, and I was like, why did Joseph have to go through the things that he went through? And God said to me that I was building a character for where he was going to. I was building him to be humble. I was building him to be forgiven. I was building him to manage his finances and other people's finances, because he was
Mm.
he was going to a place where he will have a lot. He will manage finances for nations,
Mm.
And so it is important that you build a character that matches your destiny. And in that character, one key thing is perseverance. Don't ever
Mm.
give up. See, Joseph, from the time when God gave him that vision to when he actually became king, where he became prime minister, and he started to help his brothers where they came and they bowed before him and he actually saw a fulfillment of that vision that he had.
Yeah.
It was years.
Mm.
It was years. Could he have given up? Yes, he could have. Yes, he could have. But I want to encourage somebody listening to me there. Don't give up. You know, you were talking about the speaker last Sunday, and that resonated strongly with me. Don't give up. When I started off and said somebody went to uni and they said they couldn't cope, don't give up.
Don't
Even
give up.
when the odds are against you. And one thing you have to know is that the Lord is with me. Don't give up. And that leads me to the next thing that says, be led by the Spirit. We're Christians. And so when we're led not just when we're deciding who to get married or what in finances and in the investment that we make, we must be led by the Spirit. Last year I went into an investment that I went into it and I actually didn't ask God. I didn't ask him. I didn't ask God, like, should I do this or shouldn't I? And a month after, so I invested money into it, and a month after, I realized that the company I'd invested this money into, we'd signed all the contract, I'd done my due diligence. I realized that they had they had declared bankruptcy
Wow.
like 2 months before.
Wow.
And so when I found out about this, God, I was shaken because I put quite a lot of money into it. And you know, I went back to God and I was like, God, why? And you know what he said to me? He didn't ask me. He didn't ask me. So, you know, and I said, God, just have mercy. Just have mercy, you know, and let me get my money back. So it is important that we are led by the Spirit. And it is so key that we are led, that we seek God's face, because Bible says that he is the one who teaches us. Remember that the Lord your God, it is he who gives you the ability to produce wealth.
Right.
Why? Because it is a covenant that he has made with your forefathers. It is a covenant that he made with Abraham. Therefore, he's able to give you innovation. Let's talk about Jacob. We know the story about how he served Laban. Okay?
Yes.
And that's something I'll talk about a bit more. How he served Laban for 7 years and then another 7 years.
Yes.
And then well, we think it is commanship, but he got the sheep to mate in a particular way, and so they produced offspring which had to be his. Do you think that Jacob just thought it up? That kind of idea does not come from, it just doesn't come from anywhere. God must have planted that idea. And you know, in the current climes that we are, you know, because of the pandemic, do you know that there's some people who are making loads of money?
Of money, yes.
Loads
Yes.
of money in this pandemic.
Yes.
And it is
yes.
a case of when you let him give you direction while you've prepared yourself up until when that opportunity comes. That's why they always say, be prepared for an opportunity, because it only
Yes.
comes once. How many
Yes.
times have we seen an opportunity and we don't actually know it's an opportunity, or we're not ready for it, you know? And then the last thing I want to talk about is having a servant heart. When know that it is in your service that you become a king. You know, Jesus said that it is when you serve, that it is them that serve that are the greatest, you know, and it is when you serve that you learn. And that's why the world has something called apprenticeship. In apprenticeship, you learn the trade, okay? And as you're an apprentice, you don't go to work feeling you are the boss. No, you abide by the rules, you follow the rules until you get to a place where they say how where they give you, well, how do they even say it in Nigeria, when you do hairdressing and they give you, what's it called now?
Is it freedom?
Freedom. Thank you, my brother. Yes, freedom. And they give you freedom and you go out and you express yourself. It is so important that we serve. And it's not just in the place of finances, because you see, when God blesses us, it's not just in money. And that's why it's more wealth rather than just finances. Some of us are not willing to serve. Some of us are not willing to pay the price and just humble ourselves and be
Mm.
in a place. Sometimes it is in the place of service that someone sees you and spots you and brings you to limelight. What was
Mm.
Ruth doing? What was she doing when Boaz met her? She was serving. She
Yeah.
was serving. For the young people out there, serve, serve, serve. Give your time, give your talent, give your experience, give your money, give your money. It's that's one thing. Right now, you see, the Bible says that in the end times, people will have itchy ears, and there's so much out there about, oh, it's not important to give tithe. That is rubbish. It is important as a believer, pay your tithe. As a young believer, I've been pay. I remember sowing a seed apart from just my tithe. So this is money as an undergraduate, okay?
Mm.
And I gave all my money. You might think it's stupid. I gave all my money and I had no money to go home. So
Mm.
I'm talking about I was probably 16, 17 in a
Wow.
university that was at least 2,000 miles away from home. Okay,
Wow.
and I did that, and it wasn't a one-off.
Mm.
So your way to greatness. So everything. It is a principle. It's a principle. And when God blesses you, it is important that you understand the reason for
Mm.
your wealth, for your blessing.
Mm.
There's a
Now,
song by Joel Horton that says, I'm blessed to be a blessing. And that's why it is only a person who understands that the wealth that is given to them, they're just custodians of it. You see, it is when you bless people that the money, the blessing that you have, you exchange your earthly blessings for treasures that can be stored up in heaven. When you give, when you are moved with compassion and you're able to give to people and not just think about of yourself all the time. So the reason that you're being blessed is so that you will be a blessing. It is important to remember that because it is only a person who has that kind of, and that's why you find big, like Bill Gates. Bill Gates is a giver. You might say, I don't think he started giving because he's now rich. He must have been giving from when he had small. You don't become a giver overnight. It is a character and a culture that you develop in little or in plenty. I think that. No, one last thing, and this is so important.
okay. Before we take that, I
Yeah.
think your it's frozen right now. We can't
Are
see
you
you.
serious?
Yeah,
Oh,
it's just frozen. So please help us with that. Yeah. Then we'll go
what can
into.
I do? Uh, Habila, how do I sort that out? Can you
Uh,
hear me?
yeah, I can hear you. We can
But
hear
I'm
you. Yeah,
still.
it's just frozen. Yes, yes. The picture.
If I refresh it, won't it log me out?
Um. Okay. Even if I can still call you in or invite you,
Okay, let
so I
me
can
let
we can.
let.
Yeah, I can just try it. All right. Yeah. Yeah, that's an amazing. Okay, before she comes back to the studio, let me just take. I have 7 smart things that would benefit you this year. Talking about finance, making wise choices. So number one I have is creating a spending plan and budget. Okay, guess is back again. All right. Okay. Yes.
That better?
Better now. Yeah, better now. Better
Great.
now.
Sorry
Yes.
about that. Sorry about that.
No
Yeah.
problem. No
Carry on.
problem. Okay. Now, so what you said you have
Oh
one
yes,
more
one more
point.
thing, and this
Yeah.
one is, treat yourself sometimes, but
Okay.
don't indulge always. You know,
Okay.
a funny story as well. I worked with somebody who um, told me that he
Yeah.
sleeps in his car. I thought, are you? And I asked him, I said, so are you joking or you're serious? He says he sleeps in his car. So why do you sleep in your car? Oh, it saves me over 300 pounds. And I'm like, why would you do that? It's not like you don't have the money. So you can tip overboard to become very stingy and not look after yourself. You see, the truth is that you see this money that we are all pursuing. when you die, when you die, it's not going anywhere.
Anywhere.
There's an Igbo proverb that says that it is the one. I'm not going to speak Igbo now. It is the one eating, eh?
That is your own.
That stays with you in the stomach when you die.
Mm.
You understand? So
Mm.
treat yourself to good things in life, but don't overindulge. And again, when I say treat yourself, obviously you're looking at your finances, you're looking at what you have, and don't be stingy and have 500,000 pounds in your account and be sleeping inside the car in cold wind. Why? I've been living like a hermit, with thick food in your car. I thought, no way, you can't do this. And he says, oh, he's saving money. I thought, okay, all right. So treat yourself. Thank you very much. Sorry, I hope I didn't rant too much. I hope I didn't say too
No,
much.
no, no. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that. So treat yourself. Now, any other point? Do you have any other point?
No, well, I could talk about a lot more, but I thought that these are key ones that I just wanted to leave out there because it's non-exhaustive. It's non-exhaustive.
Mm.
So yeah, let's leave it at this, and then we can
Mm.
carry on. And obviously, when you ask me questions, there are things that I could talk about as well.
Mm. Mm. Okay. From my side here, one of the tips I have is saving money. Savings. The first one. It's creating a spending plan and budget.
Fantastic.
If if you are spending more than you earn, you will never get ahead. In fact, it's a sure sign that your finance are heading for trouble. So the best way to make sure that your income is greater than your expense is to track your expenses for a month or 2 months, then create a budget. Yeah, I think yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I that is so. I agree with you, totally, totally. And that's why I said when you talk, you'll just highlight some of those things. So it's key to save and
Mm.
budget because what a budget does is highlight how much how much your incoming is and how much your outgoing is.
Mm.
Sometimes we think that we know it in our head, you know, but that's why you actually have to look at it
Yes.
step by step.
Yes.
Now, one of the books I've read, I don't know if anyone's read it, is The Richest Man in Babylon. And it was my husband who
Okay.
gave me the book when we first met. And one of the tips there that you must save at least 10% of your earnings.
Mm.
At least 10% of your earnings. You can save a bit more, but whatever you do, because that 10% is like what you will call your seed.
Mm.
The seed that you put in to grow for the next month, if that makes sense.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Yes.
it's important to do that. And the other thing, this is one thing I always advise every new mother. I don't know where I got it from, but I've done it with my children, and I'm not going
Okay.
to mention how much they have in their account. But once you give birth to a child,
Mm.
open an account for them.
Right.
Open an account for them and pay money into that account regularly. I was talking about this in a women's meeting, a while ago, and one of the young girls in our, that was in the meeting, she was in
Yes.
university at the time, she's graduated. She said that is so true because
Mm.
she is a product of that decision her mother made.
Wow. Wow.
Said when she was going to uni to read nursing, that
Yes.
her parents didn't have any money to give her. And so
Mm.
she was worried. But her mother brought an ATM card
Wow.
and gave it to her. And there was
Wow.
money in that account to last her at least a while until they got their. So
Wow.
that's so important. Every mother, and I would say mothers because
Mm.
uh, we're the what's the word now? We're the homemakers. Even
Mm.
if your husband is not in support, okay? My
Mm.
husband wasn't really in support not that he wasn't in support, but you
Yeah.
know how you men are. You want to do it big. I will be waiting to do it big, and that big will not happen. So why don't you just be doing small, small? Because you know that that's the truth. And so
Mm,
it took years for him to come on board. But when he came on board, he was a believer. So that's something I would advise you to do. And the other thing, can I say something else?
yes, please.
Well, now, okay, I also wanted to talk about, um, building a credit history and good
Mm,
credit rating.
mm,
I'm not sure, who's on the audience and who's listening, but if
yeah.
you're from the African background, where, we do not have a credit culture
Mm,
uh, in Africa. It's more a
no.
Western world thing. And so you come over to this country and you find that it's something that you struggle with. I know people who come over and because of that background and that understanding, they never they never get the best of the economy of where they,
Mm,
and that's
mm,
where knowledge is important. You cannot, even Paul said that when I became a Roman,
mm.
just so that that when you have to live as a Christian,
Yes.
not of the world, but understanding what's going on around you and
Yes.
using it to become the best that you can be.
Mm,
Okay. And so the people who, because they have good jobs, um, but they've never been able to buy a property because they don't have a good credit rating.
mm,
How do you develop a good credit rating? By being on the electoral roll. And this is to do with people in the United Kingdom, because that's
yeah.
what I'm talking about. People, get on the electoral roll. Those are the things that help your credit rating. Get a credit card
Mm,
and show that you're trustworthy. You see, you don't gain anything by spending your debit card, by
mm,
spending money that you have in your account. You don't get anything from that. But you get more by actually using credit and paying it. And the
mm.
reason you do this is because you have to have, that's why, when I talked about having a vision, what do you
Yes.
want to achieve? Every credit card I've had up to date, I remember the very first credit card I had £250 in it. And I used to follow this credit card up. I would log in. I would make sure that I've paid back, everything. And the reason I got it at the time, I wasn't even thinking about building a credit because nobody told me these things. And so
Mm,
I think over the years, God has just been merciful to me and just led me, helped me, because I don't think I made those right decisions by myself. No,
mm,
I didn't. God helped me. It is by
mm.
his mercies. And I got that credit card because I needed to pay for something in home office. And at the time, they wouldn't accept a debit card. It was strange. It was
Mm.
only a credit card that they will accept. And over the years, I've built it, just from that 250
50.
to a lot more, whatever I want, I can have, But
Yes.
what is the reason? Getting a credit card is not for you to take the money and go on holiday. You must make sure that you're not getting a bad credit, but a good credit. What is the difference between a bad credit and a good credit?
Exactly.
A bad credit is credit that has no financial value. There's no return coming from it. It's just money spent, gone.
Mm,
That money does not belong to you. So if you're using it for something that is not going to bring anything back or has no value, then why are you? That is living outside of your means.
mm,
So, and what I say to people is, when you buy your groceries, use a credit card and pay it straight back, because you're building.
mm,
What do you even need it? Why do you need to build? Because when you want to get a mortgage, that's what the bank will be looking
mm.
at. Yeah. So that's what the bank will be looking at, that you have a good credit history. And so if you don't do those things, I know a couple who are GPs. They've been in this country for years and they don't own a property. Why? Because they said they don't, they don't want to have the responsibility of. Do you know what it means when you're a tenant? Especially
Hmm.
when you can afford to have your own property. Let me
Yes.
tell you what you're doing. You're helping someone else, pay for the house that you're living in. So why
Hmm.
don't you get yours and
Yes.
pay that money towards owning the property yourself, if that makes sense? Yeah.
Yes.
So a lot of people don't understand, and people say things like, "Oh, I don't want to have a problem with, you know, having to get a workman, get a plumber." Where the day and age that we live in with technology and the internet, it's so easy. There are websites out there. You type in, go to mybuilder.com. I need a plumber. Type in, I need my kitchen tap changing. Yeah, and you have 10 tradesmen come up. You read their
Yes.
review, and then they tell you, okay, you shortlist them basically.
Yes.
Easy, easy. So why would you? Because and I think it's laziness in a way for you to say that. Because of that, you will not have a financial security for yourself just because you're thinking about that. So I just wanted to chip that in there. Just
Hmm.
throw that in there. Sorry.
But someone said that stay away from debt. Yeah, I heard someone tell me, told me a few months ago, said stay away from debt. Like no matter what the debt is, just stay away from me. Now, but you are saying about talking about credit card now, that you should have a credit card to boost your, you want to take a mortgage like that. Now, what you have to say, because some people don't believe in having a credit card, like having something that you have to still pay back. Now, to our viewers, also, please, before we go into that, for our viewers, if you want to be a part of the show, you want to contribute, you can send your comment in the comment section below and be part of the show today as we talk about making wise choices, making financial wise choices. All right. So, to that question, yeah, what do you have to say about it, please?
Hello, beauty. Hi, good to have you. Yeah. So I talked a little bit about good debt and bad debt. Okay.
Yes.
And when I think it's important to remember and to keep in view why
Mm,
you're getting a credit card. And the reason is because you want a good credit rating. You're building it. And it's something that you build over time. And there's some people out there who do not have a good one because they've wrecked it. They've literally wrecked it because they've taken credit that they've not paid back. And
mm,
so it affects their credit rating.
mm.
And you know what? There are loads of things that you cannot get in this country if you have a bad credit rating. And a lot of time for you to move to another level financially. I'm not
Yes.
saying you have to. Now, part of the things that I was taught when I went on a property course was to take my credit card, okay, and use it to buy property. That's what I was told. But do I do?
Mm.
I don't. It's
Okay.
my choice not to do it.
Not to do it. Okay.
Yes, it's my choice not to do it. And the reason is because debt, however way you look at it, is not, it would be fantastic, amazing if you could achieve everything in life without debt. Okay? But a lot of times it's not possible. Okay? And that's why I talk about good credit and
Credit.
bad.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you're taking credit, make sure that it is something that you've actually looked at it and you're sure that based on your earnings that you're able to pay it all back without interest. Okay, let me tell you one other thing that I do. I never take a credit card that I have to pay interest on. Okay,
Mm.
let me explain this.
Okay.
So, and the only reason I can get that is because I have a good credit rating. I take a credit card where I have 0% APR for 24 months, 48 months. What that gives me is leverage so that over time, if I wanted to buy a property and I decided to take a loan supported by capital that I have built and stored
Mm.
up, which is where saving comes in. Okay.
Yeah.
I use it. I know I'm not being charged interest. And over 24 months, I pay it off. That is better than not actually doing so. At the end of the day, if I
Yes.
took a loan of 10,000 pounds with no interest and I bought a property, and every month I'm getting a cash flow of 400 pounds or 500 pounds.
Yes.
Okay. So in 12 months, I would have gotten, 5,000 pounds plus another two, 6,000 pounds. Okay. In
Yes.
12 months.
In 12 months. Yes.
That is so that is extra on whatever it is that I took. So if I'd broken down that every month to clear that up in 24 months, I pay back maybe 200 pounds every month. By the time I'm paying that off, I'm getting extra cash in my pocket. Okay.
Right. Yes.
But so it's like money, and this is what financial institutions do. That's what they do. You see all the money that you have saved in the bank, they're using it to make money.
Yes.
And so that's why I say making wise financial choices and decisions. So there is good credit and there is bad credit. Good credit is that you're using that credit for investment. Bad credit is that you're using it for something that has no financial value. For example, buying a 1,500 pounds Michael Kors bag. That is bad credit. Going to holiday in Spain because your friends are going to Spain for holiday or to wherever. Go to somewhere in Cornwall in the UK. It's okay.
Yes.
We don't have to. Yeah, fine. I'm conscious of time, so let me stop here because we don't have much time anymore. Sorry, I told you I would talk for Africa.
All right, I think we need to bring you back on the show again so we can conclude this. We can conclude on this topic because I think it's broad. It's a very broad topic here, so we can't just end it right now. Okay, so I'll call you. So I think we need to still have you again on the show, and we conclude. Round up on the show proper. Thank you so much for being on the show today. We have 5 minutes to round up on the show today. Yes. Thank you so much for being on our show. I want your final word for our fans and families and loved ones watching us right now. What's your final word for them, please?
Okay, so be bold.
Yeah.
Be strong.
Yeah.
For the Lord your God is with you. Don't be afraid to step out. Don't be afraid to make that big step. Okay? But before you do it, seek knowledge, seek understanding. Yeah? Don't jump without having a harness. It's like somebody who goes to do a parachute jump and you have nothing holding you. You know, no harness. No. Don't be afraid. Once you've done your due diligence, developed yourself, got as much knowledge as possible, go for it. As long as you know that God is leading you in that direction, go for it. So be bold, be strong, stay resilient, stay persistent, never ever give up. Okay? And whatever you do, put God first. It says, seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness. And all, when God says all, he means all. All things shall be added unto you.
All right. Thank you so much for being on the show today. Now, Beauty Yalaji is saying, thank God, I love your topic. Yes, so thank you so much for joining us on the show. Yalaji Khan, thank you so much. I appreciate it. All right. Thank you so much. So we'll bring you on the show again. We need to have you on the show so we can conclude on this topic. All right. Thank you.
Well, I've had an amazing time. Thank you so much, Havila, for having me.
All right, bye. Yes.
All right. God bless you.
Amen. You too. Bye. Yes. Wow, that was an amazing one. That was an amazing one from our special guest, Ezinne, popularly known as Ezinne, popularly known as Ezinne. Yeah, we still need to talk about this whole topic today. It's an amazing topic. Yep. Quick, I'm going to run my tips. Quick. I think we have 2-3 minutes right now. The first one is create a spending plan and budget. If you're spending more than you earn, you will never get ahead. In fact, it's a sure sign that your financial your finance is heading for trouble. All right. So the best way to make sure that your income is greater than your expense is to track your expenses for a month or two, then create a budget. Okay. Have a budget, grocery budget, transportation plan, have a plan. Second one is pay off debt and stay out of debt. Okay. If you're going to take a credit card, make sure you pay back. All right. Like what our guest said, just make sure you pay your pay back, whatever you get from your credit card. Make sure you are always on time. You pay back. My third point is prepare. I'm trying to look for the slide right now. So, all right. My third point is prepare for the future. All right. Saving money for your future is crucial. If you don't set saving goals and steady work towards them, you would have to rely on credit when time gets tough. All right. So make sure that you have a saving culture. All right. Save enough. Start saving on a regular basis using tax-free. All right. Saving accounts. That's what they call TFSA or I think RRSP or so. Yeah, or you can use both. Google it and check it out. You need to have a plan, a saving plan, also plan for retirement also. And I'm trying to rush this. All right, it's so many, but I think I've just stopped here because we have 1 minute to round up the show. Next week, by God's grace, we'll bring in another special guest on the show, and I think we'll have to organize. We'll need to have Ezinne again, Ezinne on the show again, so we can conclude on this topic. Once again, I want to say thank you for being on the show. It's so amazing. I thank everyone for being on the show today. I thank Yalajo for your comment. Thank you so much for your comment, and for all our loved ones behind the scene. I want to say big thank you to you all. Next week, by God's, we would have another special guest all the way from Ghana, Accra, Ghana. He'll be live here on the show. I'm not going to tell you, so just check it out. Check our Facebook page, check our YouTube page. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Subscribe. Follow us on Facebook. Follow us on Instagram. Be part of the Havila Show. Once again, I want to say big thank you to you all. Next week, by God's grace, same time, 1900, here on your number one inspirational TV show. Thank you. See you next week. Stay blessed. Bye-bye.